Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing? Hope you're doing very well. Trying to survive this heat of the summer. I want to come back on here and do yet another coffee with the tattooed historian. It's been a while. It's been 2 months since we've had coffee together. So it's time to do some updates and to hang out and speak with all of you in chat. And once again, see how everyone is. It's been a busy summer for me since the last time we did one of these. And so there's a lot to catch up on. I had the huge amount of time spent in Normandy, so we're going to talk about that. Good morning, Barbara. How are you? Nice to see you in chat. Welcome in. Thank you for being on YouTube. There's a lot of other stuff happening that I want to go over. I want to go over the new podcast format. I want to talk about that with you as we go forward. There's just quite a few things to discuss. So let me know in the chat that you're here. Say hello. Let everyone know where you're at. I would greatly appreciate that. I'm still trying to wake up because I'm only on my first cup of coffee. Usually by now I'm on my second. So woke up a little late this morning and I have some work to do today. I actually have to record the podcast for tonight or record it tonight for Tuesday. We're going to have a great podcast next Tuesday. Why don't you tune into that, the Tattooed Historian Show on iTunes and Spotify. We're going to have an update about the 30 Union Civil War veterans and 31 spouses whose ashes will be inurned in the Seattle, Washington area. We're actually going to release a few names of those who will be buried. So you're going to want to check in with that. That will be a great pod, and we'll keep the same format if you like it. Let me know in the chat if you do like the new format. Ray, good morning. Andrew, how are you? Nice to see you from Monroeville. I haven't been in Monroeville since the Max show. We used to be in Monroeville for Militaria. It's been a while since I've been in Monroeville. I need to go back to Permane Brothers and hang out there. But yeah, a lot has transpired since 2 months ago when we last talked. I don't remember if we talked at the last live event about the Normandy trip. Oh yeah, Andrew, it was a great show. Good morning, David. How are you, my friend? Ray, I'm glad you enjoyed the new format as a guest. If anyone hasn't heard yet, go listen to the previous pod. We got Ray on there talking about his fantastic book. Please go check that out. We have some great numbers too from those kinds of things. I've noticed that since the podcast format has changed, numbers have increased. Now, I do have one weakness with the podcast as far as numbers is concerned, and that's the fact I don't do it weekly. Bi-weekly podcasts don't usually get the same traction, the same following as weekly. However, when you are a full-time doctoral student and you're trying to do live streams and other stuff going on behind the scenes, it's a little difficult to do a weekly podcast right now. But I have heard from a number of people who are asking if, let's say 2025, if I'm going to start a weekly pod, it may turn into weekly next year. This will be my final year of taking doctoral classes. And then I'm going to be going into my research for my dissertation for 2 years and teaching, obviously, leading seminars. So I'm going to have a little bit more time ahead, especially as we get into this time next year. Let's say, May of 2025, my time changes as far as how much time I actually have to utilize because I won't be taking classes. And so that there may be more time there to do weekly pods, and I can keep you all updated about that. Obviously, as time moves forward, we're going to be discussing that in greater detail. But for right now, it's going to stick as a bi-weekly because of my schedule. But never know. It could go down later as a weekly. So, Elmar, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate that. Appreciate everyone joining me this morning. The numbers as far as the amount of people on, like, say, YouTube in the morning my time is really low. So, it's just the way it is. Everyone's on YouTube like in the early evening, late night. So to do this kind of event on YouTube or Facebook, uh, you get less numbers, but you get these kind of like moments where you can really talk to one another in chat and hang out. So that really is awesome to me. I like to have that community feel. And it's great when you see, like 50 people in chat, but at the same time, it's great to also see 15 people because you can do more one-on-one stuff, which is why I like these kinds of like coffee chats. So I want to keep doing these as well. I'll make sure it's not 2 months before the next one. But a recap of the Normandy event, once again, I think I might have gone over it in the last one, but I don't remember. It was a fantastic time. I'm looking forward to getting back to Normandy in October. It will be on the final leg, one of the final legs of our journey in October with Can Hiss Tours. We have a sold out tour in October for 15 days, and we're going to be doing some awesome stuff. John McFarland, welcome in. Welcome in. You're waiting for General Grant. Grant is late. That is unlike Grant. Grant should be on time. Come on now, General. We're going to be going from the Hadrian's Wall to Paris, and it's going to be an amazing, amazing time. I'm so appreciative. The Can Hiss Tour brought me on as a tour historian, one of a few who will be able to interact with those who are on the tour about bigger ideas. We'll have people who are assembled there who just do like Hadrian's Wall or the Romans in England, who just do stuff on like Juno Beach and things like that. I'm there as more of like an overall, we need to talk about these things in different ways or bring this to the contemporary, bring this to our present day. Things about preservation and archaeology and architecture and stuff like that. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be trying to get those kind of larger questions out there to those on the tour. And I'm planning on not stepping on anyone's toes as far as the historian who's on duty that day about, let's say, Hadrian's Wall, and maybe doing it over, getting those kinds of conversations started over dinner or things like that, and like a dine-in experience with historians. I think that'd be more. I think it'd be better. Let me just put it that way. I think it would work very well. Kate, good morning. How are you? Nice to see you. I've seen that also Can Hiss Tours. I'd have to bring it up. I think Can Hiss has another one that is going to be happening. So they're already booking for next year. I think, yes, they're going back August of next year to Northumberland. So doing the Romans, Saxons, Vikings, and Pilgrims tour next year, which should be exciting. They are looking to really branch out there. I spoke with Neil Orford about it. This upcoming one, we're going to have another meeting for the October 2024 tour. I'm really excited. You all are going to get, some behind the scenes photos. You might get me coming on live once in a while, but not much. I don't want to step on the toes of those who paid to be there. But it's kind of like being at a conference, right? Where you want to showcase things for free to those who couldn't be there. But you also don't want to step on the toes of the paying customer. So I'm going to take that model and move it forward into this tour as well. I'm just going to be like going live once in a while because I will have an international plan. Definitely have a lot of photos on my Instagram, in YouTube. Or if you're on YouTube right now, you can see that there's a content section where it's all posts. So there will be something on there as well. There's going to be all kinds of stuff. So you think about it, we're going to be going to Hadrian's Wall, Vindolanda. We're going to be going to Whitby, going across the channel, and then going to Juno Beach. And I have a day scheduled for a tour in Rouen, Bayeux, and then finalizing everything in Paris. I have a half day almost to myself in Paris, and I'm going to go to the Army Museum in Paris at that time. Go see where Napoleon is buried, and you're surely going to get some stuff from that as well. So York as well. We're going there. Cam, good morning. Thank you for the questions, everyone. You've been in Canada for about a year now. During that time, how has your view of U.S. history / Civil War history changed because of your interaction with Canadian scholars, grad students, undergrads, and Canadian citizens generally? Cam, that is a fantastic question, and there's a series of answers behind that. So when you look at something, internationally for the first time, or you're just starting to get your feet wet, as they would say, with this kind of thing, dipping your toe into it, you get a greater understanding of the scope of, let's say, the American Civil War as far as a worldwide geopolitical event. And there are definitely a lot of overlaps that I'm seeing here in Canada with soldiers who went over to the United States, or volunteers who went over to the United States from Canada to serve in the war. I'm hunting their burial locations down right now because I want to do a series on Canadians who went and fought in the American Civil War. There are plenty around my area who I need to cover, and there are a ton in Ontario where I'm at. So as a province, there are tons. This is also the terminus of the Underground Railroad in my area. So we have a lot of Underground Railroad history, the ideas surrounding freedom, the ideas, surrounding, enslavement and things like that. When did that start to change? And then you just go down the road and you look across the Niagara River, and right there's the United States. And you can see that boundary, you can see that border, and you realize that was all that separated some people from, freedom or not, insecurity or security. You have the Fenian raids and other American movements to try to come up here and take Ontario for the United States, or what was called Upper Canada. Also Lower Canada, which we can talk about another time with Quebec. I'm thinking about doing some things in Quebec as well, as far as video presentations. But it really does open your eyes to the scope of things that you thought were like, hey, we're going to Gettysburg and this is the story, or we're going to Richmond and this is the story, or whatever else. You got to go to Montreal. You got to go to these small towns in Ontario who also had a lot to do with the ideas of freedom and the political landscape of the Civil War era and things like that. I'm a big fan of making it interdisciplinary, comparative, and an international focus. So that question that you asked is right to the heart of what I'm experiencing right now, where you see the Canadian aspect of, or the British North American aspect of what is going on in America during the Civil War and other periods. There's still a distrust amongst Canadians, especially in Upper Canada, of some of the American foreign policy makers, because they think they're going to come and try to take over. This lasts into the Second World War. I'm going to be talking about that with Tim Cook at some point here in the future. So there's a lot of things here that I think need to be uncovered. There were thousands of Canadians who served in the American Civil War. I found a few of their burial sites, and I'm looking forward to making that, what I learned in the Gettysburg area, more international in scope, and taking those lessons I learned there and bringing it here as far as content creation and things like that. I know the content at some points has slowed. That's simply because of everything that's been going on with my work, which is leading seminars and at the university and doing my research and things like that. But let me tell you, there's going to be an uptick coming. I know I've said that before, but some of the meetings were pushed and the timeline was pushed because of certain things going on, because a lot happens here in the summer because everyone wants to get out of the house because it's not, -15 or something. So people are enjoying it. It's cottage season, But September rolls around, and even latter part of August, I have some things lined up as far as video series is concerned. I got to buy another piece of hardware that's really going to help with my sound quality on some of the videos. And we're going to kick it into high gear and start to do some really cool stuff. I have things planned for 2025 in person, and they're in the planning stages right now. So we got a lot happening with that kind of overlap between the American who's now living in Canada, looking at some of the things that were occurring in the 19th century in America from this Canadian standpoint or this perspective. It's really intriguing, and I'm really excited about it. It's going to be cool. Cam, thank you for that. That's a great question. David, yeah, there you go. Born and raised in the old Roman capital Britain. There you go, buddy. Yeah, I'm looking forward to talking about all that stuff when I get over there, as much as I can. That, like I said, the tour leader is going to be, whoever it is that day is going to be taking the lead, obviously, and I'm going to be taking notes in my head. But I'm hoping to engage the group with some of these larger questions moving forward as a tour historian, and it's really interesting. I'm doing all this work as a historian. I have a brand, the Tattooed Historian, and yet my work in my doctoral training is not a PhD in history. It's a PhD in digital humanities and technology. I didn't want a PhD in history. It just didn't fit what I wanted to do. And I've been discussing this with some of my colleagues this week, and it's been a really fascinating conversation with some of my peers because they talk about, earning their PhD in history or having their master's degree in history and then thinking about getting a PhD, and some don't wish to. And I told them, I have this brand that I've had since 2015, going on 9 years next month, everybody, which is crazy. And I'm not doing a PhD in history, but what I'm doing is I'm looking at communication methods, and I'm looking at social media and how we interact with that and how we get information from it or disinformation from it. So I've kind of taken this one aspect of my brand that I've taken for granted doing this, and I've started to consider it in new ways, scholastically and scholarly, if you will. And that really fascinates me. I love to see how we all interact with media, and this is one thing that I'm really, really excited about. So we'll see how that goes. Excuse me, that coffee is not hitting well this morning. I got to wake up. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But the CanHis tour is going to be going well. The scholarly aspect of my doctoral studies is really progressing now more than ever. There are various avenues open for me. I just had an amazing meeting with one of the communications professors who asked me to come on as their teaching assistant for this coming term, which I accepted. I'm going to be helping the seminars, basically doing seminar leads for networks, digital identities, and interactions. So we're going to be talking about stuff like we do here. We're going to be talking about live streaming, podcasts, news on social media, et cetera, and how we interact and consume those kinds of things, because we all have experience with that. If you're in this chat right now, you have experience with it. If we go check out somebody else's live stream, we all have experience with it. We have it in our feeds every day. We carry this interface that's on our phone in our pocket every day. So how do we consume those things, and how do we take it for granted or we worship it? That's what I want to talk about with the second year students. I'm also going to be leading a seminar in new media literacy. So how, again, technology and how we are interacting with it and how it's changing our lives, or for good or bad. And really looking forward to that. In fact, I think I may start a new YouTube playlist on my channel that is strictly about digital humanities and new media and how we are harnessing that in different ways to tell stories of the past. I think that'd be engaging. How archives are using digitization projects to get things out there and have been, especially since the pandemic. Speaking with people about those things, I think would be fantastic and interactive. And perhaps you would like it. Let me know in the chat if you would appreciate that over there on YouTube. I have, playlists about all kinds of stuff for former conferences that I went to or previous conferences I went to. I have the Tattooed Historian Show playlist, but I don't really have a specific playlist for a theme other than do your research, which I need to get caught up on again. But I'm really thinking it's time to maybe do some kind of a digital humanities playlist on YouTube. It's history, but yet it's our digital interactions with it and how that affects our research or, when we're going to visit a site, how that affects what we want to see. Let me know in the chat if that's something that you would enjoy over there on YouTube. I would greatly appreciate that. Also, down here at the bottom, I have the news that YouTube channel memberships are now available. Since I no longer stream on Twitch, I don't do gaming as much anymore. So I've kind of transferred over to one of my favorite platforms, YouTube. And we have YouTube channel memberships now available. Instead of that old subscribing to Twitch, you can do it here. You get all kinds of cool stuff. I'm going to be doing some behind the scenes stuff. So when I'm setting up for an interview or something to that effect, I'm going to take pictures of my setup so you can see how I, put my hardware out and what software I'm using and things like that. So it's going to kind of be instructional in that way. We have emojis for chat. We have mobile phone backgrounds, which I'm making. I have one up now. There'll be another one on the way. Shout outs for new members and stuff like that. So you get some perks for it. However, I want you to realize that the videos and podcasts and stuff like that are going to be free. I'm not going to be like, hey, this is only for my subscribers only as far as a video or informational stuff is concerned about history. I want to make history accessible. But there are some behind the scenes business stuff that some people are into. And so I feel like that's one way to promote doing history as far as a business is concerned. So those channel memberships are now open for you if you so desire. But remember, it is totally free to like the live event and subscribe to the page. I want to do this shout out because it means a lot to me that we grow our community here. It's been a while coming, so I appreciate the effort to subscribe. I found that only about 10% of those who watch my videos are subscribed to the channel. So we need to really get the subs up, and it's free. And I like free, and I know you like free, especially in this economy. There you go. Have at it. Please like the live if you would, or love it, or laugh at it. I don't know which one you want to do. But on YouTube, please like the live, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that. Andrew, off the wall question. Are you aware of any NATO files in the Canadian archives related to the Canadian Army or Air Force from the mid-50s? I have a friend looking for a pilot's name from 55 to 56. Andrew, there's a lot of holdings in Ottawa in the archives about NATO and peacekeeping missions and UN things and stuff like that. In fact, I've been around a lot of archival stuff, and I'm really impressed with how much Canada has concerning NATO and the United Nations as well. So I'm sure there is something there with that. I think you have my email, Andrew. If not, send me a private message and I'll send you a link to the archives, and maybe someone there can help them do that kind of stuff, because I know there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff there. In fact, they're pushing pretty hard for the 75th anniversary of NATO this year here in Canada. So they love that kind of history. So hit me up, let me know, and I can work on some links for you and your friend and send them along to you. more than happy to help. More than happy to help. Any way I can help with research or enable people to do a project of some kind, all about that life. So hope everyone is doing well. Thank you again for joining me so far on this live event. We're going to have to do more of these, Coffee with a Tattooed Historian. I love hearing your questions, comments, things you're working on right now. I want to give you time in the chat to post, what are you working on right now, or what, I know that John McFarland is at the Emerging Civil War Conference right now. So shout out to Emerging Civil War and what they're doing. John, I hope you have a fantastic time at that event. Sure, it's great. And anyone else going to any conferences, writing any papers, leading a tour, researching a subject matter, what are you doing as far as history is concerned right now? I would love to hear that in the chat. Please post that in there. I love to see the lay of the land. What's going on out there? What's the environment in the history field or the humanities in general? If you're working on a piece of art, if you're doing, something to that effect, please let me know in the chat. Would love to hear it. There's a lot of research being done out there right now that I'm excited to see. There's more research coming out on the War of 1812 that I'm really, really hyped about. I just received a copy from the library of this book. I got to reach back here and get it because I have a pile of books back here. Not these. Okay, this is nice back here. I have probably 100 books on the floor behind me, and sometimes you can't find the book you want, and you got to go to the library. Big fan of libraries. If you don't have a public library card, please go get one. I just got this one. There's a cover on it, so I don't know if the glare is going to throw it off. So I'll turn it to a page. Warfare and Logistics Along the U.S.-Canadian Border During the War of 1812. Christopher Dishman. So, Cam, this kind of goes back to your question about this U.S.-Canadian border issue, looking at something from an international focus. That's something that I'm really interested in. I also like logistics. I'm a Logie fan. I don't know why. I worked in a warehouse and it drove me nuts. I don't know why I'm a fan of logistics, but it's just intriguing to me because everyone's talking about tactics and battles and stuff like that. Well, how'd they get the ammunition? How'd they get the food? I actually did a video on here of food in the Civil War. So I'm all about that life. So this book is going to be really interesting. I think it came out in 2021. So it's a newer book. Maybe I'll be able to get an interview after it's done. But this is for my own personal research. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Andrew, if you are still here in the chat on Facebook, Steve in the YouTube chat says, do you know if he is alive or deceased, the NATO pilot? Now we're talking about cross-border things. Now we're talking cross-platform stuff. Steve on YouTube is going to talk to Andrew on Facebook. I'm loving it. This is great. And Steve, I'll let you know what the answer is on Facebook as soon as it comes up, because the beauty of this software is I can put the answers up here on the screen. So Andrew, if you're still around, let us know about that. Again, I hope everyone's doing well. Looking forward to dropping this new podcast episode on Tuesday and giving you a couple names. Richard from Civil War Seattle said he has some names to give me. He's now allowed to give the names out. It's a whole legal issue that had to be taken care of, but now a few names can be released, and I'm looking forward to releasing a couple of those with him. Big shout out to Civil War Seattle for leading the charge on that effort to get those, American heroes, those Civil War veterans buried in the Seattle area. He's leading the charge as far as the history behind it. He's going to be doing a display. He's going to be helping get the word out, and he has been helping get the word out. And I'm really happy that he's been able to do that and be taken seriously by a lot of his peers and colleagues in that area. He deserves it. He does amazing tours of Seattle not just Civil War, but all kinds of other history. He's got a great murder mystery tour and all kinds of stuff. So please check him out over there. Looking forward to talking to him tonight. That podcast will be released about 8 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Please make sure that you go follow the Tattooed Historian show on Spotify or iTunes. Andrew is answering Steve here. May have a child living in France he does not know about. Oh, this story just got more interesting. Okay. Is the person doing the research the child living in France? That would be, this is a whole storyline in itself, guys. This is great. Okay, we're gonna release some text. I feel like I got to get my chair higher. Trying to help a member of my family who's looking for his biological father, who is based in Lorraine on the Gros Tenkin base. That's terrible French. Probably a fighter pilot in the Canadian Army between June 55, June 56. William or John Williams. We don't have his surname, but it sounded French. Sad story. As this young guy went back to Canada without knowing his love was pregnant. Wow. This is a movie. This is amazing. Yeah, Andrew, you're going to have to reach out to me, private message or email. Doesn't matter. I think you have both. And I'll get you some links. We'll see if we can get this tracked down. This is going to be wild. That really ups the ante. I'm liking this. This is the beauty of doing historical research, right? Sometimes you can find out some really important things about other people's histories. If this person is still alive, they're going to find out that, they had a child in France and didn't know about it. Wild. All right. But again, thank you everybody for being here. If you haven't slapped the like button on the live, please consider doing so. YouTubers, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, it's free. Please consider doing so. It helps out the community, helps us grow here, and gets this stuff out. I'm also going to be shooting a small video for Can Hist Tours, where I'm going to be introducing myself and talking about what I hope to accomplish on the tour. I'm going to be giving that over to Can Hist Tours very soon, and I'm looking forward to doing that. The tour itself, I really want to give a shout out to Can Hist because they're just doing some great stuff. I want to show this to you if I have a moment to bring this up. If I can do that, if I can do it without ruining my screen here. There we go. So this is the tour I'm going to be on as a tour historian. Sold out. Really excited about it. Northumbria to Normandy in October. So we're going to be doing some great stuff. There's going to be a lot of walking involved. We're going to be going to David here in chat. You're going to recognize some of these places. I wonder if I can make this bigger. I don't like that form. I like the other form better. There we go. So this is going to be really, really cool. 15 days. We're going to go to Hadrian's Wall, Vindolanda, York, and then we're going to ferry over to the continent. We're going to go to Normandy, Bayeux, Juno Beach Center, Rouen, Monet's home. I forgot that. We're going to Monet's home, and then onward to Paris. So this is going to be a crazy good time. And I am really, really excited about this. Oh, yeah, they did. That's not why I'm here. They did a shout out for it. That's not why I came up here. Yeah, they put my stuff up there. We don't need to look at that. You already see my face. You don't need to see that. But it's going to be fantastic. Really looking forward to it. And then there's another tour that they are just getting ready, which is a VE Day 80, May of next year. So shout out to Can Hist for being on this. It really means a lot to me and other historians that they are doing it. So they're going to be doing the 80th anniversary of the liberation of the Netherlands, April 28th to May 12th, 2025. Registration is now open. It's like half full already. So They have some great historians coming on this, and I want to, help them out by promoting it as well as often as I can. I'll probably have Neil on to discuss this tour. Uh, so yeah, it's gonna be a heck of a lot of fun for those who are in attendance. Neil's a great guy. He's a retired teacher and just an all around good guy. You've probably heard him on a few of my things in the past. We've talked several times, podcasts, live streams, things like that. So on this one, they're going to be doing the Canadian First Army walking tours. They're going to be going to Commonwealth cemeteries, etc. And then they're going to be participating in the Liberation Ceremony VE Day 80. So much happening here with that. And because the tour that I'm officially on in October took off so well, they're already RSVPing for another one next August. I did not know about this until the other day. I looked up the website, and this one's going to be really, really cool. It's going to take elements of the tour that we're doing this year, but it's just going to be all Northumberland. So really excited to see CanHist is, doing so many great things and taking it from the educational aspect and allowing people to talk about those grander ideas of history and how we interact with history. It's not just a battlefield tour. I don't want to say just a battlefield tour, but you know what I mean. It's something different. What we talk about at Juno Beach isn't going to be a battlefield tour per se. It's going to be something different. And I'm really, really excited for Neil's efforts with CanHist and all the team. They are doing great, and want to really help them out. So please give them some love. They're on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, please go there. I think CanHist is also on, let me make sure. Yeah, CanHist is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's not X to me, it's Twitter. So please go follow CanHist, CanHist, on those platforms. Greatly appreciate it. You're going to get some stuff from me, though, behind the scenes on my Tattooed Historian page, on my Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, etc., as we go through the tour in October. So stay tuned for all that. David, did you say you were going to Whitby? Is this Dracula related? We have a full day. Well, we have 3/4 of a day of time, almost a full day in Whitby. And this part is all on your own. So this will be one of the areas where I will probably go live, or I will do some video content or stuff because of the Dracula relation to Whitby. Definitely going to have some Dracula stuff. I'm going up to the Abbey. Going to be going downtown. I'm going to be going through the town and hanging out and getting some fish and chips. I need some traditional fish and chips. And there are plenty of those, I hear, in Whitby. If you have any thoughts on where I need to go, David, in Whitby, please let me know. But definitely going to be hitting. See, this is what I love. I'll click on that link when I get to Facebook, my friend. Thank you. Definitely going to hit that. So I need fish and chips in the town. But we're definitely going to be talking about Dracula and Bram Stoker and all that good stuff when we're there. And since it's a full day, or a mostly full day on our own, I'll be able to kind of like run my own show, quote unquote, and do some live stuff and take a lot of photos and post it up for all of you to see. So between those two dates that I gave you, what are the dates again? I want to make sure we're good to go. We're going to be going from Yeah, this is the tour. Why didn't I see it? We have, gotta look at my itinerary. So October 12th to the 26th. You're going to see me randomly going live, especially in weird parts of the day if you're in North America, because I'll be in Europe. But, you're going to want to pay attention because it's going to be good. I'm going to be doing a lot of video stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of posting on IG, as I say, YouTube, Instagram, stuff like that. So pay attention in October. because there's going to be a heck of a lot of European stuff, English countrysides. I'm going to be walking Hadrian's Wall and all that. It's going to be coming up here on my socials. So stay tuned. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. It's going to be good. And if you're considering going along at some point, go over there to Can His Tours. I'll put a link in the chat, and you'll be able to see where all they're going. And the first one is the one we're going to, or that I'll be on as of right now. I have kind of, sort of, an open invitation, if I so desire, to go on the VE Day 81 and be tour historian on that one as well. So more on that in the future. What I have to do is I have to look at the dates, because I think, it's after my term is over. So I should be okay. If it gets more registrants for that one, I might come along for the ride on that. So it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to it. And you should too. You should check into it and see how much you enjoy that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to meeting some new people and talking about some great concepts as far as public history is concerned, memory and things like that. So great stuff. Thank you to everyone who watched my video on Pete Carmichael. Greatly appreciate that. I wanted to get the word out and say some words about his passing. That was a tough pill to swallow. It took me a good 24 hours to be able to even try to sit down and do a video. I knew that I couldn't be at the funeral or any of the ceremonies in Gettysburg because of my schedule, and I was supposed to be in Ottawa, and I did go to Ottawa for a series of meetings, and I couldn't be there. So I wanted to do some sort of video, and thank you to everyone who did tune into that short piece. I didn't know what all I should say, what all I could get out, because this man was very instrumental in me meeting new people and being exposed to a new community, in the Civil War community, and in the scholarly aspect of Civil War history. He really helped me a great deal. And I wanted to, highlight that in a video of some kind. And he's irreplaceable. He was an amazing person, a great friend. We worked together in 2019 and 2020, and it was one of those things where I remember going to the Civil War Institute offices, and they had all the equipment that I told them to buy for their purposes, because they wanted to do what Pete and I had done. Pete wanted to put it in house, and they wanted to do, live stream presentations from the CWI, and kind of run the show themselves after he and I had done some great work together, and they're like, "Hey, can you teach us how to do this?" And I said, "Absolutely." And I went in and sat down with him and Ashley for 45 minutes or an hour, maybe a little bit more, and went over the technical aspects of things. And then they figured it out, and they did it, and they moved on and did their own thing. And from that point forward, Pete and I worked together a couple times, but it was mainly, a friendship. It wasn't business. It was afterwards. It was just, text messages and checking in and things like that. And so I could rely on texts around the holidays and things like that from him. And as I said in a post or in a video, I still have the texts, and they're not going to be deleted. I'm going to figure out how to get them from one phone to another, and they'll stay with me, because the way he helped me through some trying times through texts or through those events is something I will never forget. And I hope that I can pass that positivity along to someone else and be that enabling force to tell people, you can do this, or here's how you can do this, or here's my idea to do it, but you need to experience it yourself. the way that, we basically clicked, where he understood what I was trying to do and I understood what he was trying to do, and it worked. And a lot of you had asked, time and time again, when are you and Pete going to do something? When are you and Pete going to do something? And I knew they had gone on and done their own thing, and I didn't want to interrupt what they were doing. And I knew that everyone was busy at that organization. So, uh, I was kind of like, we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. And it didn't happen. And because of his passing, obviously. And so I cherish those moments we had during the pandemic when we were together digitally. And, obviously when we were together in person, it was great. It was the same thing that you all saw. It was the same kind of experience. What you saw on the screen was Pete and I together anytime. We didn't put on a show. We didn't put on an act. That was Pete and that was me. And, that's why we got along so well. We were authentically ourselves all the time. And that's what I'll miss, is having another colleague in that Civil War history field who is just as authentic on screen as off. There are some, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he was the only one, but he was just different. He was a different cat, and I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss having him around. Larger than life, as Kate says in the chat. Yeah, larger than life guy, really helped out a lot of people through some bad times. Someone I'll never forget, and I know a lot of people will never forget. I know a lot of people, that helped him as he was like in the shoes I'm in now, as far as a doctoral student. They're still trying to come to grips with it, and it's going to take a while. It's going to take a long time. And this is why, one of the reasons, he was a master engaging with everyone. The man could engage with people better than a lot of others whom I've ever met. And he was the people's historian in that way to me. Something that I always wanted to be. Pete was already there, and Pete was doing it. And, a few of us hope to, many of us, I hope, want to pass along that legacy and keep it going. But that doesn't mean we're going to replace him. That won't happen. We all have our own styles. We all have our own ways of doing things. And it was just a wonderful friendship and partnership, because he understood that. He understood that I had my style. He had his style, and we just gelled. He could go rogue against the academy just like I could at a drop of a hat if something needed to be said. And that's what made him great. Engagement, authenticity. That was Carmichael. That was Pete. And I'm gonna miss it. I'm really gonna miss it. So I hope that everyone goes back and watches some of the videos that he and I did together that are on this channel. I hope you'll go over to the CWI channel and see some of the stuff that they did. That's a great way to remember that legacy, to honor that legacy. I thought about doing a live stream event where I just ran our lives together, but I didn't want it to seem like I was, I didn't want it to seem wrong, like, oh, I'm going to get viewers off of this man's passing. So I didn't do it that way. I was just worried. And so I didn't do that. But I can say, if you want to revisit some of those, please go check out some of the videos that are there, because it's helped me to move forward. And maybe it'll help you if you have a sense of loss because of this event. Maybe it'll help you a little bit as well, to hear his voice and hear his outtakes. I was watching one where he was it was not ours. It was somebody else's video with him. And he was talking with someone on the battlefield, on the battlefield of Gettysburg, about, people looking at something in history a certain way. and it brings them joy, even though it's a myth. And he said, you can be happier if you're delusional. And I'm like, that's a Pete saying, you know. Um, that's a Carmichael saying right there. You can be happier if you're delusional. Just those little things about him. They are bumper sticker worthy quotes, you know, as we would say back in the day. Uh, but yeah, it's been tough. But revisiting some of our old stuff that we did together has helped, and maybe it'll help you as well. No matter who did it with him, no matter what creator, go out there and take a look at it, enjoy it. And if you never met the man or you never saw any of his stuff, definitely go check it out. Because, or if you haven't read any of his books, he was one of those people who could write for the people. You know, it was very easy to read, but he was making you think at the same time. And sometimes you didn't realize that he's making you think. He was that good of a writer, and I'll miss that, you know. But I'm happy that we have his legacy through his written works, through videos, through CWI Summer Conference videos that C-SPAN and others had produced. It's all there. So yeah, it was so good to see that and to hear it. Exactly, Kate. He writes very conversationally, and I think that's why we got along. Is because I'm a conversationalist when I'm interviewing people, and he was just a natural at that. So yeah, very conversationally. Yeah, definitely. But so I want to give everyone a few moments in the chat to highlight any kind of work that you are working on right now. A favorite museum you just visited, an article you just read that you really want to give a shout out to, something like that. You know, are you working on a project right now that you're really excited about? Are you going to be doing a live stream or a video, or what book are you reading right now? That's the kind of stuff I want to hear in the chat. So please let me know in the chat what you're working on, what you're reading, stuff like that, before we wrap up our morning together here. I love to give you time to highlight your work. And that's been a theme of this brand from the beginning, is I like to highlight other people's works and enjoy it. So please let me know in the chat. I'm sure someone out there is reading an awesome book right now. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. I have one that I'll highlight while you're thinking. So I am getting ready to read this book. Sorry, it took me a while. Again, I got a huge pile back here. As many of you know, my research right now is on emerging visual technologies and how we are consuming all this new media and what we're seeing online, what we're seeing in our feeds, et cetera, et cetera. And I've been really highlighting some things about the changing dynamic of visuals on the battlefield, especially when it comes to drones. And I don't mean the big drones, I mean the small drones like you and I can buy online. And so Peter DeGabriel, I hope I'm saying that right. I just received Peter's book, Drone Enlightenment, The Colonial Roots of Remote Warfare. This is put out by University of Virginia Press. And basically, it's taken some of these really interesting theoretical perspectives and looking at sovereign responsibility, remote occupation, things like that. I've been really heavily involved in security and surveillance and stuff like that through my work. So this one is going to be one of the next ones that I read. I also have 2 or 3 others that I need to read within the next 2 weeks because I'm interviewing the authors. So there's a lot of stuff going on. David, live streaming from the location of the U.S. Army Mule Depot next week. Now the VA hospital in Perry Point. That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. The Army Mule Depot. I love Army Mules. I'm going to be tuning into that one, David. That sounds legit. I like that. I'm actually going to bring up that link because I need to If anyone wants to follow David, please do so. I'm going to copy David's Facebook in here. It's in the chat right now, everybody. Please go follow David. He's going to be working on this next week. I'm sure it'll be live. Not live, but I'm sure the video will be ready to rock and roll or be. Oh, you are live streaming, so it will be live. So please go follow David there. Just finished Confederate Goliath, the Battle of Fort Fisher. Nice. Never read anything about that battle. That's a good place to start, David. That's a really, really good place to start. That's awesome. I know you like baseball. I started watching the HBO show on Pete Rose. I can't get HBO, so I'm gonna get a buddy of mine to get me a copy. Actually, I love baseball. I played baseball when I was a kid. I have baseball cards back there, so I'm a big Roberto Clemente fan, and yeah, that's my guy. So Roberto Clemente and Ted Williams. Still trying to get the 1956 copies, the 1956 cards, tops of Clemente and Ted Williams. I have Nellie Fox, Chicago White Sox. I grew up right near where Nellie Fox was born and raised. My grandfather bowled with Nellie Fox in the offseason. So he was a huge, he's in the Hall of Fame, White Sox. So I have his 1956 card, which I was really happy about. So I like to get those old ones. That's my thing. Barry, good morning. I finished reading a book titled Brave Face, the inspiring World War II memoir of a Dutch-German child, co-written by a woman and her mother about her mother's experience in Nazi-occupied Netherlands. Wow, I haven't read that. That sounds cool, Barry. I have not read that one yet. I'm going to have to look that up. This is another reason why I love these live chats is now I'm going to have a list of things to look up. You know, like if books start coming up in here, now it's going to be like, oh, add to my book list. So, yeah. There it is. Office Stop at Nellie Fox Grave, St. Thomas. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, David. I grew up in Chambersburg, so I was just down the road. I actually bowled in a bowling league when I was a kid at Nellie Fox Bowl, which now has a mural of Nellie Fox on the outside. So I have Nellie's 1956 Topps card, and I think a 1962 or something like that, 61. I'd have to look again, but 56 Topps is my favorite set. I love that set of cards, and I made sure to get Nellie's 1956 Topps. So I need to get my Clemente 56 and my Ted Williams 56 and branch out from there. But I'll wait till after the baseball season is done because historically baseball cards drop in price after the season, and then I'll pick it up. So we'll see about that. It's the joys of being a historian who loves, you know, antiques and artifacts and stuff. Sometimes you get to pick up things that make you feel like a kid again. And I remember, you know, collecting cards when I was a kid and having fun with it. So there's just a few that are still outstanding that I want to get. So yeah, just 216 strikeouts in his career. Yeah, the man was Tony Gwynn before Tony Gwynn, you know. I mean, he had to have a hell of a good set of eyes on him. I struck out a lot, but I never hit a home run either. I was a pitcher, so I wasn't supposed to hit. I was supposed to pitch. So one of the classics. I'm no Shohei Ohtani or something. Another show I started watching was The Commandant's Shadow, son and grandson of Rudolf Hess. Oh, Hess. Yeah, Commandant. Wow. What's that on, Barbara? Is that on a particular channel? Or is that a documentary? Or let me know. I'd want to watch that too. Thank you again, everyone, for joining me this morning. It means a hell of a lot to me that you're here. It really does. I hope you're having a fantastic Friday morning so far. My coffee is cold, but I don't care. I'm still here hanging out. And I hope all of you have a great weekend. For those in Canada, happy holiday weekend. We got a holiday coming up on Monday. So, yeah. Oh, yes. Chatham, Ontario. Yes. Yes. I want to get out that way. I want to get out that way and see that. I need to get to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, actually. I'm trying to get a contact there and see if I can just chat with someone who's an archivist or curator or somebody and just hang out and talk baseball. Oh, it's HBO also, Barbara? Okay. Man, I need to get HBO, apparently. There's a lot of good stuff. They have been doing a lot of good documentaries over the years. Was a big fan, but just got out of my price range for right now. But hopefully, hopefully with a couple sponsorships on the podcast that are coming, maybe coming, and a couple memberships on the old YouTube channel instead of Twitch, we'll get HBO. We'll start talking about documentaries. But the son was 87 when filmed, only spoke German. Grandson speaks English, is a pastor. Wow. That is wild. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch that, Barbara. That sounds wild. Amazing. Anyone else reading anything right now or watching any good documentaries, stuff like that? There's a heck of a lot of it going on out there. There's so many books dropping right now. Don't see as many live streams going down as we used to. I think people are getting back into the swing of things. They've had a few years to do that. But, David's always doing some live streams over there on Walking the Ground. I'm very appreciative of that. I still like live. Now, World War II TV, WW2 TV, always doing live. Doesn't like to do videos because of the editing. He loves to do live. That's his thing. I totally get that. I love live. I love to interact with you in the chat. I love to meet you in person, and have those live interactions. That's what I'm built for. No script, no nothing. We just talk. That's why sometimes I use the same adjective 3 times in a sentence, like fascinating or fabulous. I don't have any idea where we're going to talk, what direction we're going to talk, but we're going to go that way and have a good time. Woody does have a great channel. Was very happy to have Woody on. Woody's closing in on, let me see here real quick. Woody's closing in on 100,000 subscribers, I think. He's got 82,000 subscribers now. That is incredible. Good on Woody for that. I'm going to put his stuff in here. He came on and did a live stream with me. There we go. He came on, did the live stream with me, the top 3 World War II movies. You can see that right here on my YouTube channel if you're on YouTube. I don't know why there's a connection issue with Facebook right now. There we go. Actually, Woody's live right now. So he's doing the brutal fight for Hill 107, the battle for Crete. I didn't know he'd be live right now. He's usually live in the afternoon. Anyway, please go follow Woody as well. Fantastic guy. I'll see him in October. I have a half day of free time in Bayeux. And that's where he lives. So I'm going to make sure to stop in and see him. But his YouTube channel is fantastic. Excuse me. So go, please follow Woody. Paul does a great job. He's doing some amazing things. So go hang out with him. Anybody else have anything you're reading or looking into, researching, anything like that before we call it a morning? It's after 11 o'clock here where I am. So I need to start thinking about actually doing some work and not just drinking coffee. Although I wish. Also, Paul from World War II TV has a great Patreon site as well. I don't do Patreon. I'm just going to stick with this for right now as far as my memberships are concerned. And thank you to Havoc5 for being my first member of the channel. It means a hell of a lot to me that you're a member. All the funds raised from that goes right back into the Tattooed Historian account, which gets used for software, hardware, that kind of stuff. I got rid of, what was that? Buy Me a Coffee. I got rid of that. Was having some issues with the platform, got rid of it. And now just decided to just start the memberships here on YouTube because so many of you are here. Maybe a few of you want to join. and it makes it easier for me logistically for YouTube to, say, here you go, this is what you got this month. But I'm extremely happy to say we have one member, Havoc5. Thank you, my friend. He came over from Buy Me a Coffee. He came over from Twitch, and he's been sticking it out with me for a while. So thank you for that. It means a great deal. Enjoy the behind the scenes photos and emojis and all that good stuff. But if you haven't already, please slap that subscribe button on YouTube. Please hit the like or follow button on Facebook if that's where you are at. Please share this out amongst your friends, the page as a whole. Please share it out amongst your friends and colleagues. It would mean a hell of a lot to me if you did that. I really, really am all about organic reach and word of mouth marketing with this, which is probably why, it's taken so long to grow. I haven't done ad buys. I haven't done anything like that. I just wanted it to be about, you like what you see, you subscribe, or you like what you see and you like. I'm not about doing ad buys and all that good stuff. I'd rather it be by word of mouth. I'm an old school guy that way. I'm raised on a handshake as a contract. So you know where I'm going to go with this. It's going to be about just making it accessible and honest and authentic for you. And if you get something out of it, hit that subscribe button. It's free. If you like it and you're on Facebook, slap that like or follow button. Greatly appreciate that. If you want to go the extra mile, I do have memberships on YouTube and YouTube alone. No more Twitch. We're right here just doing this and doing live streams and doing videos. And I have a lot of reels that are coming up, shorts that are coming up. So you're going to get a lot of that in your feed. But I greatly appreciate each and every one of you for being here and hanging out. It means a lot to me. I hope all of you have a fantastic weekend, and please be safe out there. It's been hot as hell out there, and stay hydrated. If you're having coffee right now, go get yourself a nice cup of ice water and stay hydrated because it is really hot out there right now. Take care of yourself. It really means a lot to me that you're here. It really does. And I hope that we all can meet at some point and I can thank you in person. That would be fantastic. I'd love to shake your hand and thank you for being a part of the community here. The small community, but happy community, and a safe space as far as the community is concerned for all of us just to talk about history and how we do it. Stay tuned for a lot more. The podcast drops Tuesday morning. We're going to release a couple names of those who are going to be interned in Seattle. Some of those Civil War veterans. You're going to want to tune in for that. I'll share out the link for it on Tuesday. Please disseminate that because there will also be information about how you can be at the ceremony itself or send flowers, message, that kind of stuff. So please be ready for all that on Tuesday morning. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Take care, everybody.